Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Hunter Cook, and this is today's episode of Forwritten Fruit. Today with me, I have my guest, Baylor Bishop. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everybody. My name's Baylor, like he said. I'm a new writer from Broken Bow, Oklahoma.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your life growing up, anything like that?
Gotcha. So, yeah, I was born and raised in Broken Bow. Uh, Never really wrote anything before until this. This was my first attempt at writing, so I'm kind of new to it, but enjoyed it a lot. I've grown up loving movies, and that's definitely been where I want to continue writing, I guess I could say. I am a transfer student. So I've gone to this Ada East Central will be my third school, I believe. And yeah, that's basically all I got.
All right. So your movie script is called Dibs.
Yes.
For as of the time of this recording, Dibs is the only movie script on Forwritten. Hopefully that will change soon. But can you go ahead and describe Dibs for us? Describe the plot, describe any inspirations you had, just talk about it.
Got you. So yeah, Dibs is actually an idea me and a bunch of my friends had for a movie in high school. And we were like, gosh, why does nobody make a movie like this? And we just kept throwing out ideas and ideas and ideas. And I'm sure I forgot some of the ideas that were mentioned, when we pitched it, but a couple years later, probably 4 or 5 years later, I decided to actually write what I remembered from the movie. And basically, it's about a boy named Finn and the relationship with him and his best friend. And Finn recently lost his dad, and that was somebody that was close to him and his best friend. And they follow a code that his dad laid out for him called the Bro Code. And it's just a set of rules and ideals they follow to respect each other and keep their friendship going good. And one of the rules is dibs. If you call dibs on a girl, the other person lets you have that girl. Anyways, at a party, Finn meets a girl, thinks it's the love of his life, but she's wearing a costume, so he doesn't recognize her, or he can't find her, he doesn't know anything about her. Anyways, first day of school comes along, and his buddy calls dibs on the same girl, and he knows it's the same girl because he can see the same look in her eyes that he saw the night of the party. So the whole movie is about, or the whole script, I guess, is about Finn deciding whether or not he wants to preserve the relationship with his best friend or pursue the girl that he thinks to be, his soulmate.
I see. So was there any real life inspiration for this film script?
Uh, so there's events that happened in this script that did happen in real life. There is a scene at a high school football game where Finn ends up tripping one of the main characters by cradling a little ball, and I ended up doing that in middle school.
Okay.
So there's a few stuff like that where I just little bits here and there that I took from life, I guess.
I see. So this all started from a conversation you had with your friends in high school.
Yes.
What spurred that topic of writing a movie?
We were all just very fond of movies. We would always try to put each other on the best movies we could, and we were always just like, why don't they make movies like this? So this specific movie that I made, or this specific script that I made, is catered to high school. It's a coming of age, and it's made for people going through that stage of their life. I guess there wasn't enough movies being made that were actually relevant to high schoolers. It felt like all the high school movies that were made by somebody who was just way too out of touch. So I wanted to try to make something while I still kind of knew what it was like to be a high schooler. That makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you mean. A lot of and
Yeah.
it's weird too. Like a lot of high school movies, the actors are all in high school too, or aren't all high schoolers. They're all adults too. So it's like
Yeah.
it's written by adults. It's written for adults, and it's the actors in the film are all adults. So it's like, what about high school movies are actually for high schoolers?
Yes, exactly. One thing I added in this one, which is really funny, is everybody talks about when they're a senior in high school, how all of the underclassmen look like little kids. So in this specific script, I have a joke about that where they're saying, "Wow, the freshmen this year look incredibly small," and the plan is, at least in my head, is for them to actually be played by like 10-year-olds, and they just have
Yeah.
little lunchboxes and they just run around in the background. So all the background characters would just be extremely young, and it would just be a little inside joke throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
I thought it.
I think it specifically says fourth graders on there.
Yeah.
So a little behind the scenes for written knowledge for you is so everything on for written is obviously me on my computer editing and like adding stuff to the website. And so at let's say I think it was like 12 o'clock at night. I'm sitting there in bed next to my fiance editing your script and going through it and reading it, and I read that line and I just burst out laughing. And my fiance's on her phone and she looks over at me and she's like, "What are you laughing at? What's so funny?" And I showed her your script and she started laughing too. And there was a few scenes like that. Um, the other one that I read that got me cracking up was when he goes to the costume party and they say, "Oh, he's Harry Potter," like from the book. And then they walk in and the like guy who's hosting the party goes, "They made a book about that?" So, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that I was laughing for a good few minutes about that one. That one's so funny. Also, so spoilers, I guess, for anyone who's wants to read the script. Although I'm just like highlighting some of my favorite things about it. I absolutely love the gag where one of the friends has a penguin as a pet named Fido.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
So I wanted to include my friends in this as much as possible. And no, none of my friends have a pet penguin named Fido, but I did come to one for advice, and I had the idea of a twist pet because the character's name is Bart, and his parents aren't really around, I guess. So I was thinking how funny it'd be if like he had kind of rich parents that kind of just got him whatever he wanted. When he went after the idea of a mental health animal, I was like, what is the most random animal we could use that like nobody would have around here? And one of my buddies, I remember hanging out with him, and I was like, I want you to pick the animal. Like, it can be anything you think. Just what would be the most random animal that whenever I, kind of add this twist in there, and everybody's like, what? What would be the most surprising? And a penguin, when he said a penguin, I was like, that is hilarious. I have to
Yeah.
keep that in.
What were the other suggestions? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't know. There was a few like they weren't as good. There was a few. There was a monkey was one of them.
Hmm.
I believe a parrot. Just a few goofy ones. But
Well,
penguin was by far one that stood out.
well, I've had a parrot, right? I've never seen anyone with a pet penguin, for sure.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
there's also I don't remember what the movie is, but there's a movie where a guy has a bunch of penguins. So I know it's possible to like have one.
I think it's is it not Mr. Popper's Penguins or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that Ben Stiller or am I tripping?
I believe it is. I believe it is.
Yeah. Dude, that movie came out so long ago.
Yeah, I know. So it was very vague, and I was like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of this, so I think
Yeah.
it'd be hilarious.
I think the penguin was a good choice. I think you nailed it with
Yeah,
that one. Oh,
yeah.
that's so
Because
funny.
it's so out of place, man. It's so out of place.
So what would you say is your favorite scene? And try not to give spoilers, just give enough that people might be interested. Well, what's your favorite scene in your script?
uh, Favorite scene? Probably, it is more towards the third act, but there's a scene at prom, and it's where the character Bart tries to serenade this girl, and it goes poorly. Like, I don't know if it's mentioned in the script that it's poorly, but I want him to sing this song very poorly in front of everybody. And the song is Wonderwall. And if you ever hear Wonderwall, it's one of those songs where you want to try to sing it as well as possible, or as with as much passion as possible. And if it's done poorly, it can be very funny. And I think it's the perfect song to serenade to somebody. And I just, once you hear the song and you hear the vision for it, I think that scene would be hilarious. And I think I have it where he's serenading, and then it cuts to another conversation, and outside of the gym that the prom is hosted in, and you can still hear him singing in the background whenever the tone is much more serious. If you don't care about the seriousness, you can still hear the song in the back, and it would just be hilarious.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite.
I definitely, I definitely enjoy a good chunk of your script. I still think my favorite part of it is the penguin, just
Yeah,
because it's
I didn't
so
particularly.
random.
Yeah,
Like there is absolutely no build up to the reveal of the penguin at all.
yeah.
Uh, all right. Do you have any plans to write any more movie scripts in the future? And what kind of genres are you looking at, or if you can share like a basic idea or anything like that?
Yeah. So currently, I'm writing one right now. I'm taking my time on it because I only have kind of the beginning and the end for it, kind of in my head.
Hmm.
I'm working on the middle right now, but basically, it's going to be a more serious tone because I do want to dive deeper into some serious stuff. Because obviously, Dibs is a great coming of age, but it's a lot of comedy. Like the funny stuff is the good stuff. I feel like.
Yeah.
So this one's about, because Dibs is more of a friendship story, the relationship between two best friends, and then this is going to be more the relationship of a boy and his dad, and it's going to take place in multiple timelines. So it'll be the dad when he's 18 and the son when he's 18, and I think it's going to cover some topics like abuse and breaking those cycles, and then what happens if you don't break those cycles, and yeah, it's going to show how much things have changed over time. Just like when you go into a diner and you listen to music on a jukebox rather than now everything's on Spotify or Apple Music, just kind of just going back and forth and showing the differences and the parallels of everything. I'm
Hmm.
really excited for this one.
What inspired you to write this one?
This one, it really just, I was talking to my dad, and I guess I was just thinking about me and my dad. And my dad is like 62, so I have a bit of an old dad. But I was kind of thinking about, like, I wonder what he was like when he was my age and how similar he was when he was my age. And I see old pictures of him, and we even had the same, like, hairstyle unintentionally for, like, a good period of our life growing up, which I always thought was hilarious. But just thinking about the stories he would tell me and how different things were back then compared to now, and how you can't get away with certain stuff that you did back then. You can't get away with that now. So I just thought it'd be a cool story to show that, you're seeing this character in the present, but you're also seeing why he is the way he is, because you're seeing his parents in the past. There's going to be two love interests in the past, and you don't know which one he ends up with and which one is the mom. So the whole story in the present, you don't see the mom's face because you don't want it to reveal which character she is. And it's kind of a mystery leading up to that point.
Kind of like How I Met Your Mother.
Precisely. That's one of my favorite sitcoms.
Oh,
I
is it really?
unintentionally, it is my favorite. It is my favorite show of all time.
Oh no, I love that show. That is like
Really?
I would say that probably is my favorite sitcom too.
Yeah.
No,
See, when you were talking about the randomness of the penguin, I was thinking of the pineapple from the pineapple incident episode.
Oh yeah.
How random the pineapple was. I love
Oh,
it. I love random.
that show has some really funny running gags.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Like the slap bet with Marshall and Barney,
Oh yeah. Oh
where
yeah.
they're
That one's the whole show basically.
yeah, no, it spreads throughout. No, but the episode that started in is the one where Robin, it reveals that she was a teen pop idol in her hit song about going to the mall.
Yeah. Yeah. Robin Sparkles.
Yeah. I still reference that song every time anybody mentions going to a mall, as I start singing that immediately. I love that show's so good. Oh my gosh.
That's hilarious. Not to like recommend another podcast, but they have a podcast called How We Made Your Mother that I'm listening to right now, and it's Josh Radnor, the actor that plays Ted, and one of the writers, and they go through an episode a week. So you watch one episode a week, and then they do a podcast talking about what it was like writing it, what it was like filming it that day, and just it's really good. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not like a huge podcast listener. I listen to a handful of them, but I I'm a very busy person. And I can't like focus on things and do others. I can't listen and do other stuff and focus at the same time.
Right.
So I tend to just like if I do listen to a podcast, I retain none of it.
Right. I've tried doing audiobooks, and I'm the same way. I have to read. Like I can't just listen.
Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm the same way. I like people keep telling me to do audiobooks, and friends will be like, "Oh, I listen to an audiobook on my drive home or when I'm working." And then I ask them questions about the book, and they don't retain as much information as I would want. Is the thing. Like
Yeah.
you're not really reading it, are you?
Mhm.
But that's my whole problem with it. Anyway, so most of the content on Forwritten is short stories, poems. We have a few novels. So, do you have any plans to write anything like that, or are you sticking to movie scripts?
I think I definitely have to write a few more movie scripts before I try to novel. I really
Hmm.
wish I could remember what I was thinking about earlier because I did have an idea for something I would want to do a novel on, but it's completely slipped my mind now. So
Yeah.
there's no use even trying to go back and. But
All
I'd be
right.
interested. It's just I want to become a better writer, I guess, before I go into that.
Yeah. Was there ever a time when you were in high school that you called dibs on a girl?
I don't really have like a Dibs horror story. I just know we did it often, and a lot of times we would do it and we wouldn't even like listen to it or we would forget it was called. Like it wasn't near as serious as it is in the script.
Yeah. It's
Very loose.
yeah, not nearly as hard a rule
Right.
as you portrayed. Um, so well, okay. On to add on to that question, was there ever a time where one of you and your friends fought over the same girl?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Probably throughout middle school. Just I went to a very small middle school, so there was slim pickings. There was just probably one or two girls, so there was a lot of times where we would, not take turns, but yeah, that ended up happening where we would both like the same girl, and one of us would just have to roll over and let the other person have her.
Real okay.
Yeah.
So how often? Well, let me ask you this: how often did you win compared
Not
to your
not
friends?
not as often as I'd like. Here's a funny story. When I was in kindergarten, which is super too young, but I had white hair, which you can't tell looking at me now. Like I have brown hair now, but I had like bright white hair, and I remember there was this girl who I liked, who had a crush on my best friend, and he had dark brown hair. So I remember I was like, oh my gosh, she likes him and not me. It's because he has dark brown hair, because that's how kindergartners' minds work. And I remember praying and praying and praying and praying that God would take my white hair and turn it into brown. And it didn't work. It didn't help. Like my hair is brown now, so yes, it works, but it didn't work. That I didn't get the girl because my hair magically turned a different color.
So do you blame your darker hair color now on those prayers all those years ago?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. I kind of wish I could go back. I liked the blonde.
When did your hair start turning brown? Do you remember?
uh, I got some childhood pictures around here. It lightened up when I was probably around 10, and then probably when I started hitting puberty is when it went to brown.
See, I've always been a redhead.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, well, I like my red hair, unlike I think most of the world, but I like it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, my dad would tell me stories about how he was a redhead when he was little, and my dad right now and throughout the entire time I was growing up had black hair, and so I
Yeah.
was always terrified that my red hair was going to turn black, and thankfully, all these years later, still red. It's just not nearly as red, but. Uh, So I guess I kind of have a similar story. My dad has had every hair color. Is a fun fact about
Oh
my dad.
wow.
Yeah, so he was born same as you. He had white hair,
Yeah.
and then it turned blonde, and then when he was a teenager, it became brown, and then it turned black, and now it's turning gray.
Yeah.
So he's gone through
Wow.
the whole spectrum of hair color.
That's funny. See, my sister has red hair, and it's kind of random. So my dad kind of questions my mom, like, "Are you sure she's mine? Because we don't have any redheads."
Well, it's a recessive gene, so anybody
Yeah,
can have a redhead at any time.
yeah.
And in defense of your sister. But there's always the possibility. Uh, so did you? So any? Do you have any more fun high school experiences you'd like to share with us?
Hmm. You got anything specific?
Well,
I
just
can't think.
anything that may have influenced the story that you wrote, anything like that. Did any of your friends make it into the script?
Hmm. Okay, so no, not specifically, but there was a moment where so I didn't drink in high school, and I still don't drink, but I went to a party for the first time, and that was kind of the theme for the second party, I guess, of the movie, because there's two. There's one right after the other one, the one where the penguin's introduced.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where Finn is on the roof with Bart just looking at the sky, And that same thing happened with my friend, and this friend is not based on Bart or anything like that, or Bart is not based on this friend at all. But I was really thirsty that night, and I was like, man, I could really use a drink. And he was like, oh, I got you, and just ran down there and got me an alcoholic beverage, and I was like panicking. And I remember like taking a tiny sip out of it and then just pouring it out behind my back while we just sat on the roof. So the whole scene with them on the roof was straight out of high school. I remember doing that with my buddy and the peer pressure and all that.
Mm. Man, that's really funny. So when I wrote my novel, the people I shared it with were my friends, and
Yeah.
what I got a lot was them trying to guess who in my novel was based on who in my life, which there were very few characters based on anybody at all. But
Yeah.
I got a lot of people thinking that the main character is supposed to be me,
Mhm.
which, by the way, I find kind of insulting. But whatever. Um, Not the case at all. I wasn't trying to think of like, oh, what would I do in this situation when I wrote it? So let me ask you this insulting question, maybe. Is Finn based on you? Do you think there's a little bit of you in Finn?
Oh, there's definitely a little bit of me in Finn. I mean, I wouldn't say solely he's based off of me, but some of the awkwardness, some of the, those moments, I feel like everybody can relate to some of those, and I definitely can. I definitely think
Yeah.
I see some of Finn in myself. I see some of probably all the characters in myself in a little ways. But
Yeah. Yeah, Finn is
definitely.
supposed to be like every teenager, right? He's
Yeah,
supposed to be your average teenage kid.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
He's supposed to
obviously,
be relatable.
you can relate to him a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I the thing is like I was going for a very specific feel of my characters, and they were not supposed to be me. So it was very interesting people saying that I sounded like them. They
Yeah.
were not supposed to be every teenager. Is my point. Um, so no characters based off a real person?
No, not specifically. I mean, Bart was probably based off of a few people, but Bart's kind of a gag character, so I wouldn't want to
Okay.
shout them out.
Just like a composite of a bunch of people.
Yeah, I
What would
like
you
to do a bunch of combinations.
what would you say is your biggest movie, and like what movies inspire you the most? Not just comedies, just in general, like in terms of being a screenwriter.
My favorite movie currently is it's a close one. I love The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I love that one as a coming of age movie. It's a little more serious than mine.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's great. I read the book. They're both great.
Oh, I haven't read the book yet. No, that movie is so well put together.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
made by the same guy who wrote the book, so that's why it's so
Hmm.
consistent, I guess. Yeah. 500 Days of Summer is a great one. It's not I want to say it's a chick flick, but it doesn't follow like norms of like standard rom-coms. But yeah, that one's pretty great.
Any others?
This has nothing to do with Dibs specifically, but I love any Marvel movies. I love anything James Gunn's made as well.
Mm.
James Gunn is a great writer and director. I love how he blends comedy and seriousness. Like his tone is amazing in everything he does.
Yeah. Well, I also love the James Gunn Marvel movies, and
Oh
just James Gunn films in general, except Sliver. But
yeah.
have you seen Slither?
I haven't.
Oh, don't watch it.
Okay, I won't. I won't.
It's not a bad movie. It's just a disgusting movie, is why.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I what?
sorry. Well, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is my favorite. Probably my favorite Marvel movie out of all of them, besides Endgame and all the big ones. But I loved how he uses the song Brandy to the song matches exactly, like it matches with the villain's morals, I guess. Like the song is put so well into the movie. Like I love the way he used music, and I guess that's an inspiration for a lot of what I did with this one, because I tried to use as many needle drops as I could, and, keep music a key part of the story, I guess.
Yeah, you use a lot of very specific songs
Yeah,
throughout.
I just tried to paint a picture in my head, and those
Yeah.
songs, they worked.
Yeah. So the way the film industry works is they production companies buy scripts, and then directors kind of get leeway to do what they want with it during the process of filming. So would you be disappointed if in the future Dibs gets picked up if a director were to change the music in the scenes?
Yeah, I understand. When I made the music, I realized that it is an expense. You have to buy the rights to use the music and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I do know that a few of those songs probably won't make it, and I even have some examples for some scenes in my notes somewhere deep that of songs that would probably be less expensive that would fit the same scene. And I would hope that he or she would still use music even if it isn't the song I specifically picked. I still want it to be an important part of the film, but if I end up selling the rights, then I just have to trust their vision at the end of the day. I think
Yeah.
I've laid the groundwork to where I hope they wouldn't be able to mess up.
Yeah, you just have to kind of accept that reality of the industry.
Yeah.
So, if you could dreamcast right now, 2025, what actor would you want to play Finn?
I completely forgot his name and I feel terrible. But have you seen the new How to Train Your Dragon?
Yes. Yeah.
I love the guy that plays Hiccup.
Oh,
I
that
love him.
short
He's great.
ramble, but that film is phenomenal.
Oh, it's amazing. They're
Yeah.
all amazing.
Yeah, no, so I went into that film not with an open mind you. Like, I don't like the live action remakes of stuff.
Yeah.
Like at all. But I went into that film expecting it to be bad and was completely blown away moment after moment, scene after scene, the entire time. Like every doubt I had in my mind. Like I love that. I love that film. And I thought he did a great job. Now my thing is that him and Jay, whose last name I don't remember, the original voice actor for Hiccup, they're not doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I noticed that in the trailers, like Jay's Hiccup is a lot more like laid back, sarcastic, like an intelligent person that kind of looks down on others. Like that's the way his
Yeah.
voice portrays the character. And this is more like a whimsical dreamer type person. But I
Yeah.
think they both work.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And I heard the director of the animated series is the same director for the live action, so they said they had to change a few stuff to kind of match the tone. Like the
Yeah.
coming from animation where there's more, I guess you can allow for some more comedy because it looks funnier whenever it's animated. And then this is real dragon, so you want to make it more serious in some areas. So they said they had to change a little bit when it came to the tone, and that's probably a bit of it too.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting question. So, Dibs. I think that your vision of it is probably a live action film.
Yes,
If it
yes.
were to be picked up as an animated film, how would you feel about that?
Man, so it's funny story. This is off topic, but you jog on. One of my buddies who helped me come up with the idea, he's helped me a little bit with, you know, the whole thing. And when I reached out to him, I'd already wrote probably 100 pages at this point, and I was already getting ready to write the third act, or I'd already been in the third act. And I told him about it, and he was like, "Dude, we should make this a series, like a show." And I'm like, "Dude, I already like." I wrote the whole movie. Like, I didn't say it to his face, but I was like, I've already wrote the whole movie. Like, I'd hate to like start over from scratch and, break this up into, an episodic formula and just keep it, like a 50-minute or 20-minute episodic thing. I don't know. I think it could work animated. I think it was definitely built and designed live action. But yeah, it's whatever. Whoever buys it is whatever. It's up to them, I guess.
Yeah. I'm more talking about like what you would prefer be done with your project, right? Like
Yeah.
obviously the reality of the industry is that if it does end up getting bought, then they'll do whatever they want with it, and you would,
Yeah.
unless you become the next James Cameron, you're not going to have much choice in the matter. But there's
Right.
a there's a dream version of Dibs, and I want to get like an idea of what you want to end up going on with it. Um, I do think that the guy who played Hiccup would be a great choice for Finn.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I think I looked up his name. It's Mason Thames.
There
And
we go.
he was also in Incoming, which Incoming is a hilarious coming of age movie,
Mm.
but there's some scenes that are gross. So
Okay. Well,
but that's a great one.
I'll have to check it out maybe. That
It's on
after your raging commendation of it.
It is good. There's one scene where I'm like, I can't believe that somebody read this scene and was like, yes, we have to make this into a movie.
Yeah. This is
One
my dream job. I need to do this in real life.
yeah.
So, you're a business student, or have you graduated yet?
No, I have one more year.
Okay.
One more.
So, how do you divide up your time writing your movie scripts and being a business student? How do you keep that level of discipline?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. I definitely have to force myself to do homework first, or else I'll just write all night and then I have an hour to do homework and that won't work. But this time I wrote like probably 90% of it during Christmas break. So I really wrote most during break, like whenever I had a chance away from classes, and that's what I've been trying to do over the summer is start writing this other one, and I've had some trouble getting into it just because work and I'm taking summer classes. But yeah, just trying to find any window. I had to. I ended up. My parents. So funny story. My sister is expecting a girl pretty soon. My younger sister, and they ended up getting rid of my room basically and painting it pink because it's going to be a girl. And I sleep in our living room on a couple mattresses, and I love it because I've always wanted to sleep in here, so I don't mind at all. But I don't have privacy very much. I have to wait until 11 or 12 before everybody goes to bed before I can have time to myself. Spend writing would be from like 1 o'clock in the morning to like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I would just have music playing and just trying to get those creative juices flowing, and just yeah, I'd have to write at night, and it would kill my sleep schedule, but it was worth it, I guess. I loved it.
Yeah. Well, as long as you love the end product, I guess it doesn't really matter one way or another.
Yeah, I think I do. I had it normally when I was writing it, I would go back and write over it all the time, and I'd be like, oh, this would be so much better. And then as soon as I finished it for the first time, I made some more edits and read over it one more time. And then I was kind of like, yeah, I quit having thoughts for it. I think I kind of got everything I needed to out there.
My problem with writing is I'm the same way. I hate my writing. I read it back and I'm like, oh, this is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, read my book, everybody listening. Wonderful. But I I hate it, and the only time I like my writing is when other people read it and tell me it's good.
Right.
So
Exactly.
really, the only time I ever finish anything and not just like read it, write it again over and over again is when I just tell myself it doesn't matter and just keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was some advice I was given. So
Yeah.
yeah,
This can be fixed in editing
yeah,
over and over again. So,
yeah.
would you say comedy is your favorite movie genre, or are there others? What's better?
I think I'm just a comedic person, so I think it's easier for me to write comedy. The first person I had read my script said like it was funny. Like that was the one thing they said, like the comedy was good, and I
Huh.
feel like that's what I've always been best at, or that comes natural to me. But honestly, movie wise, I like anything. I love it when genres coexist, like when like there's a mystery but there's also a love story, or there's an action movie that's funny. Like I love when there's two genres that work throughout the whole movie. I think that works really well if done correctly. So I don't have a specific favorite. I just like a lot of different movies. As long as it's well made, I'm all for it.
Like you were saying with James Gunn, he's really good at that. It's,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Guardians of the
Definitely for sure.
Galaxy can be an action movie, a drama movie, a comedy movie,
Yeah.
depending on what's happening in that scene, and it flows so well because you. My problem with the Guardians films is that they've kind of tainted the rest of the MCU to where now all these directors want to make a James Gunn movie, but they're not James Gunn, so they don't know
Right.
what they're doing.
Right.
Like Guardians is funny, but it's not just funny. Like
No, it's not.
and it's never funny in a scene that's not supposed to be funny. Like the scene in the first Guardians with Rocket Raccoon in the bar talking about his scars. That is
Yeah.
clearly not supposed to be a funny scene. But then you go to like more
No.
modern MCU movies where a scene is supposed to be dramatic, it's supposed to be sad, and then somebody says a joke in there, and it just does not work.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh my gosh, that movie's oh that movie was hard to get through. It really was.
Yep.
That movie felt like an episode of Rick and Morty.
Yeah. And what's funny is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was written by Rick and Morty writers.
Oh
So
my
that
gosh.
one would be.
That movie also.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the MCU?
Mm, I don't
I
know. I think they're on their way back. I think they can fix it. Maybe.
maybe
We'll see.
maybe I saw the trailer for the new Fantastic Four, and it looks interesting to say the least. I don't know
Yeah.
how I feel about it.
Yeah. Did you end up watching Thunderbolts while it was in theaters?
No, I didn't. Was it good?
Thunderbolts. This is kind of a pretty bold take, but I think it's the best Marvel movie since Endgame. I would say
Really?
it was
Not
really good.
not No Way Home.
No, I would say like strictly as a film, this is
Okay.
better. I think movies like Deadpool and Wolverine and No Way Home were very great theater experiences, and I think a lot of it was cameo stuff, fan service.
Yeah.
But like this strictly as a film, there's nothing wrong with fan service, but Thunderbolt strictly as a film was written so well, and the camera work and everything, like it's actually a really good film. It's like someone said it was like an A24 movie. I think I'm saying that right. But like if it was on a Marvel budget.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to check it out then. My
Yeah.
thing with Spider-Man No Way Home is I've said that criticism, and I have friends who've said that criticism. So everyone I know has said the whole criticism of yeah, it as a as a film, it relies very heavily on you having watched the original Spider-Man films as a kid and loved them, right?
Yeah.
But my thing is like I don't think there was ever a point in the process of making that film where that wasn't the idea. Like, I don't think that they were
Yeah.
sitting there going, oh, we're going to make a Spider Man film all the way through, and it's going to be this unique, incredible idea of all this, this, and this. I think the idea from the beginning was we're going to carry this film with the relationship, the dynamic between the Spider-Mans and their relation to Peter's story in the present. And so I think it's a little bit unfair. I think that criticism can be a little bit unfair because it was intended to be a film about
Oh yeah.
the past and the present.
Yeah. Well, I actually I love that movie. I love that movie, and I love Deadpool and Wolverine. It's just a testament to how good Thunderbolts really is. I really do think you'd like it.
Okay, I'll have to check it out then. I haven't
Because
so I kind of put a pause on watching any Marvel movie because I just
yeah,
haven't
well,
liked the last four that I've seen.
yeah, well, that movie flopped pretty hard. So I think a lot of people had the same opinion. But like everyone who watched it, I mean, it has like a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it's really good.
Sometimes that's not a very good testament of how good a film is. I will
No,
say that.
no, I 100% agree. Especially what I've noticed is comedy movies specifically will always have a bad critic score and then a really good audience score if they're actually funny movies.
Well, it's very interesting to me because there's always a reason to like a movie, right? And
Right.
there's always a reason to hate a movie. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like just because most people like or hate a movie doesn't mean that anything. It doesn't mean anything to me because people will like a terrible horror movie and go, "Well, what do you mean? It's just a dumb horror movie. Why wouldn't I like it?" Right?
Yeah.
As if
Right.
good horror movies don't exist.
Mhm.
That is to say, good movies that are also horror movies, not just good for the genre. I mean, like good movies that are in horror. Like the have you seen John Carpenter's The Thing?
I haven't, but I've heard amazing things about it. I'm not a horror guy.
Uh well, so to speak your language a little bit, there are good comedy movies that are also just good movies, right?
Yeah.
But there are
Right.
people out there that are like, well, I liked it. Of course I'd like it. It's just a dumb comedy. It's a funny movie. Haha. Why wouldn't it doesn't have to be The Godfather, right? I
Yeah.
hate that criticism because it's like a movie doesn't have to be The Godfather to be a good film.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes a good film is just a good film. And sometimes a film is good for its genre or good for the year that it came out. It's like I don't like this reduction of criticism down to, well, not every film has to be like the pinnacle of cinema. Some films are just dumb. But yeah, but sometimes a dumb film is bad too.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah.
So funny story. Or not even funny, but when I was a senior in high school, I had to take a comp one class, and one of the prompts we were given to write a little essay over was a scary movie.
Mm.
And I love writing about movies. So like I wanted to do that. I kind of had a feel for that. That was the topic I picked, was writing over a scary movie. And I'd never seen a scary movie before. So I was like, okay, if we're gonna do this, we need to watch the scariest movie of all time, like whatever it is. And I looked it up, but when I looked it up, I didn't say what's the scariest movie of all time. I said, what is the best scary movie? And they gave me a list, and I picked the one that I had the streaming service for. I ended up watching A Quiet Place, which
Ooh.
really is not that scary of a movie. I was kind of like, but it was a great movie. You know, it was a really good movie. But I watched it and I was like, this is what I've been afraid of, like The Quiet Place.
So fun hunter lore, real quick. When I was a kid, I was terrified of anything even remotely scary.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like so for instance, there is a movie called Hide and Seek, and it is a scary movie. And when I was 5 years old, I ran out of the room because my sister put on a scary movie. I didn't even know what it was about. I was just scared to watch it. And I tore the door frame off one of our doors. I was trying to get out of there so hard, and she was pulling me by my legs while I held onto the door frame, trying to yank me into the living room to force me to watch it. I watched it years later. That movie is nothing. That movie, I could barely call that a scary movie.
Right.
Uh, and what really and I was like that with all horror movies. And what really changed me was when I was about 12 years old. I went through my edgy phase, and I started watching horror movies because people thought they were bad for you, and I
Mhm.
was a 12-year-old, and they were so funny. Those movies are hilarious. Like go if you're someone who doesn't like getting scared, go watch Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. Those movies are downright comedies. Oh, but Friday the 13th is basically just people getting like thrown 50 feet through the air and hitting trees until they die. Like it's slapstick. Ugh. There's a
Yeah,
scene
this
in one
is
of the night. Oh, there's a scene in one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets where Freddy Krueger is a witch and a tornado and somebody's window, like it's Wizard of Oz, and the Wizard of Oz theme plays, and it's like, how can you possibly take this seriously?
not. That's so funny.
All right. Well, so back to your film script. Was there anything you were particularly? Is there a scene that you look back on and think that you're particularly proud of your writing in that moment? Like you think, man, this is a really funny gag, or this is like the best of my writing. I can't do better than this. Any dialogue, any particular scene, anything like that?
Okay, I really don't even know if this was good writing, but when I did it, it felt like good writing. So that's enough, I guess.
Okay.
But I believe in the early draft of my script, I had it where Finn's mom was an alcoholic, and I believe I took out most of that from the script, and I ended up adding that on to his best friend Kyler's dad was the alcoholic, and because I wanted to give Kyler's character some more layers. And this is actually perfect for the question you asked me earlier on if there was anything from real life that I put in the film. And one time at college, there was a guy at a party who had drank way too much, and everybody was trying to tell him to throw up and he'd feel better. And he was like, "No, I don't throw up. I don't throw up. I don't throw up." And he was like getting aggressive about it. You're like, okay. And then he ended up throwing up, and he was really bummed about it too. But I kind of thought it was weird, like how serious that was to him. And I ended up putting it in the film as a way that Kyler got technically abused by his dad. Like his dad was super upset at him as a kid and kind of scarred him because he threw up on his shoes or something just stupid that you shouldn't scar a kid for life over. And I remember whenever Kyler meets his dad for the first time in the script, it's at a baseball game, and his dad shows up to watch him. And whenever he talks to his dad, he's so repulsed. It's on his birthday, and his dad didn't even know it was his birthday. And he's so repulsed by his dad, not even knowing it's his birthday or just the shape that he's in, that whenever he tells his dad to basically get out of his life, as soon as his dad walks away, he throws up. And he'd already had his whole panic attack earlier in the movie about, I don't want to throw up, don't make me do it, don't make me throw up. And it's just the way his body physically rejects his dad right after he emotionally checks out and rejects his dad and kind of says, "I'm done with you." And I really loved that when I put it on paper. I was like, wow, he physically rejected his dad and went back on the throwing up thing. But so it's kind of funny, but it's also really serious. And I loved how that blended.
Yeah, I really like that. I think it's interesting how you took something that you were just thinking about and that you witnessed in real life and kind of dissected that to a point that you turned it into a character study within your own film.
Oh yeah. See, some of the best stuff, the best movie material is straight from real life. I mean, life is a great movie sometimes if you have a good outlook on it.
I would say that my life is even crazier than most movies.
I'd love to hear about it. Put it to paper.
Oh my gosh. I don't think that the most people would believe me if I did.
Yeah.
I have a friend who has consistently called me out on true stories to the point, and what I do is whenever he calls me out on it, I call a relative of mine and be like, "Did this happen?" And they'll say, "Yeah, I know that happened." And so I was hanging out with him and a group of friends before, and I told a story, and one of the people there said, "I don't believe that story, Hunter." And this friend who calls me out immediately went, "Don't say that! Don't say that! He'll call a relative! Don't say it! Stop! Believe him! Just say you believe him and move on."
That's hilarious.
Oh
That's
yeah,
great.
no. My life is a roller coaster, and it sounds like you've seen some crazy things yourself.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for sure.
all right, as we near the end of the podcast, I'd like to take a minute to ask you if there's anything you'd like to promote, anything in your any creative writing endeavors, or just anything in your life you'd like to give a shout out to, anything like that.
Oh yeah. Shout out to all of my friends and family, especially the 5 friends that helped me pitch this idea. Uh, Jackson, Luis, Philip, Craig Shank, Alaska. I don't know if that's 5, but that for the most part. That's the 5 of them that helped me with this idea. And then yeah, everybody check out Forwritten. I'm sure you're already on the website to watch the podcast, or this might be on YouTube, but
Yeah.
check it out.
I'm probably gonna post it a couple places, but well, so leading into my next question, this will be the last one, is how would you describe your experience with Forwritten in your own words?
Oh, dude, I love it. I think it was a great idea. I hate that you beat me to it because it's just like I think there needs to be more places like Forwritten. You know, like once I finished this script, I was like, how can I get my stuff out there? You know, and everywhere you look, there's somewhere you have to pay hundreds of dollars for to even like get your stuff submitted or get your stuff sent in. So it was just a really good breath of fresh air to find something that was close to home, you know, in Ada, like Forwritten. And I just think it was just a great thing, man. It was great. Good idea.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that this has been a lovely podcast. I've loved having you on, and that should be it. Unless you have any final thoughts you want to say.
No, that was great. Thanks for having me on.